This is the NDIS, Australia's National Disability Insurance Scheme that has been under fire in the middle of controversies and scandals ranging from withholding money, huge delays for participants, and even fraud.
The #1 scam in Australia.
Taxpayers' money being spent on illegal drugs, alcohol, cars, even holidays.
In recent years, Australia's trust in the NDIS has decreased rapidly, with more and more negative experiences and horror stories coming out every day. Despite the numerous complaints about the NDIS, many people see it as a positive form of support for Australia's disabled community, with more than 640,000 participants relying on the scheme every day. I wanted to find out the truth about the NDIS and see if this entire scheme really is as much of a scam as many people make it out to be.
It's meant to be there for a good reason, but people take the piss out of it.
So I decided to hit the streets of Western Sydney to find out. But after meeting a certain individual along the journey, I was unexpectedly taken to the other side of Australia. This is the story of how I found out if the NDIS is a scam. Do you know what the NDIS is?
Well, I have no idea what the fuck it is.
What are your thoughts on them?
Really?
I think it's a good idea for people that do need it.
But a lot of it's wasted. My niece, for example, gets her nails done, her hair done, $60, $70 a week for nails. For what?
Have you heard anything negative about the NDIS before?
Yeah, like they hold their money and they rip them off. We don't know if it's true or not.
I've seen a lot of people with them and they've, just fuck them over.
People with motor disabilities, back injuries, people like Michelle that can barely walk. We need things like that without having to go through 6-12 months of rigmarole. So we need that now. We don't need it in 18 months' time.
One of my neighbours has with NDIS. From what I see, it helps them a lot, yeah.
I've had complaints from customers of mine who have been waiting to get doors widened so they can get wheelchairs in.
Do you think it could be a scam?
From where I see it, not really, bro. It helps a lot of people.
I wouldn't say that.
A lot is wasted.
I think there's a lot of people that come into this because it's government money and they think that it's easy to get into. That's what I do for work, actually, is we help those really good, genuine providers.
What exactly do you have as your involvement?
So we own Australia's leading growth agency for providers. So we've worked with hundreds of providers. We put on events like all over the world for them. Recently, one of the events that we did, we had over 2,000 providers apply to attend. So yeah, I think we have a pretty good knowledge set of, the providers and all of the things they do in the sector.
So you're literally like Mr. NDIS around here. He's actually called NDIS Ninja as his Instagram handle. How can we sort of learn more about the service and, understand more people's perspectives?
You happy to travel?
Is that an invite?
Yeah. I'll take you around Australia. I'll show you some of the best providers and what they do, and I'll have them explain it because they can explain it much better than I can.
After getting this bizarre invite from Chris, he took us to Tender Love and Care, a nearby provider here in Sydney, to meet some of the participants during one of their regular activities.
Tell us a bit about you.
I went to work last week. Play bowling, have fun. Have fun, dancing. Yeah.
What sort of dancing? Can you show us?
Yeah.
So what are you doing now? You're doing some gardening?
Yeah.
And how often do you come here?
5.
5 days a week?
Yes.
And what was your life like before you came here to TLC?
Good.
More fun now?
Yeah.
Yeah?
Yeah. My boyfriend.
Your boyfriend?
Yes,
Did you point to him for a second?
Yes.
Well, I might leave you guys to it then. See you later. And after helping Chris find his soulmate, we met Yasser, the CEO of TLC, who shared more about the organisation with us. What are you guys doing right now?
We're doing a bit of gardening. Just every now and again I do come down and get involved with guys. Yep. And then we just do some of their activities, and today they are doing gardening.
You guys do lots of really cool things. What's so different about TLC?
We focused on quality of life, and we had to define what is quality of life. And we looked at 4 main areas: employment, education, good living, skills development, how people can interact in the community.
I was fascinated about what Yasser told me about TLC and their mission. So he invited us back to the main office in Bankstown and shared a little more with us about himself and what it's like running TLC.
Well, look, one of the things that we always work towards is how can we be ahead of everyone that provide services, and this awards is just a token of showcasing that we do well.
After Yasser's quick tour, we wanted to ask him more about the NDIS sector and his thoughts about it as a whole. This particular investigation, we've met a lot of people in the public that consider the NDIS as a whole as being somewhat of a scam. What would you say to those people?
Are there people doing the wrong things? Absolutely. Does that happen everywhere? Yes. Is the government aware and changing that? Absolutely. But NDIS in principle, it's there to deliver greatness for people. and I believe in it 100%.
What is it that you're so passionate about with the NDIS?
When people come to us with a lot of distressed backgrounds or haven't had the opportunity, and then we are able to cater for that and give them the opportunity, and then you see the transformation into their confidence. And through their stories that they're very proud of, that gives me the pride of success. This is my ultimate success goal.
After speaking to Yasser, we were amazed to hear firsthand all the hard work it takes to run an NDIS provider service like TLC. But now I wanted to get a coffee over at the TLC Cafe, which is completely run by participant employees like Billy.
I see your TikTok, bro.
Oh, thank you, bro.
You're funny.
Thank you, thank you.
My name is Billy. I suffer from dwarfism.
And how long have you been with TLC?
I've been TLC now about 4 years. It's a very good thing for the participants to have. They gain the experience of work, even experience with the public as well, how to serve customers, money handling as well.
And Billy, what was your life like before you came here to TLC?
You know, I had a rough patch in my life, which is bullying. It actually got me so down that I didn't want to do anything. Back in high school as well, it was so bad. Someone picked me up and literally hung me on a tree with my bag as well. Like, they literally picked me up and hung me up.
What would you say to those out there that are also suffering from bullying like you used to?
Don't put your head down, always keep your head up. You know, just know that there's always hope.
Amazing, bro. Nice to meet you, bro. Appreciate it. Thank you so much.
Can I get a photo with you?
Yeah, of course. After meeting Billy and the other TLC participants, we called it a wrap. And the next day, Chris wanted to take me to Core Assist, an NDIS provider that does things a little differently.
This is what I was telling you a little bit about their go-karting program. So the thing that I like the most about the go-karting program is essentially, instead of being a provider that just picks someone up, takes them go-karting and whatnot, we've created a program for someone who's never really been in a go-kart before or never really done anything like that, to, you know, working with people that have been British champion in go-karting and stuff, people that have been Lewis Hamilton's teammate.
Yeah, nice. And are you a go-karter yourself?
Yeah, well, I used to race karts and cars.
Really?
And stuff like that.
You still do it now?
No, not anymore.
After finding out what Core Assist is all about, we met Omar, the director of the organisation.
After I left the teaching industry, I wanted to make a profound impact on people's lives and what I'm challenging. We do focus a lot on skill building rather than just providing the basic day-to-day self-care supports. We want to make sure that kids that what we know as they have a disability are able to be involved and incorporated in everyday life as just normal human beings.
If, say, someone came to use your services and wanted to be a professional motocross racer, so if someone wanted to sort of do that as a career path, how do you guys provide a pathway for them to do so?
So what they do is, on a week-to-week basis, they learn the mechanics of the vehicle one step at a time. After the 6 to 10 weeks, depends how quick the person can learn, and from there they can be introduced into what they call the mainstream vehicle, and hopefully we can also maybe have a vehicle modified for their capabilities.
After meeting Omar, Chris shared more with me about his past with racing and how he got into the NDIS sector in the first place. You're a motocross racer, motorcycle. How do you motorsport?
Yeah, that's how I fell into the sector. Is I left school to race cars, and to leave school I needed a job.
Okay, so why did you stop racing? You're being all weird about it. I want to know.
Yeah, it's I promise I'll tell you by the end of the video.
After Chris's ominous answer to my question, we moved on and rushed to catch a flight to Melbourne, the home of HPA, an NDIS provider registration service.
To HPA, so they help providers with the compliance side of stuff. There's been a reform where basically you now have to be a registered provider.
Yep.
That's coming. Before that, you didn't have to be.
And after Chris's quick explanation of what's been going on with all the providers and registrations, we met Phil, the owner of HPA, who told us more about the process.
What are sort of the requirements to be an NDIS provider?
There is a lot of obviously unregistered providers out there with, no documentation, no insurance, no knowledge. Something like 156,000 unregistered active providers.
156,000 unregistered.
1,000, yeah. Compared to only 16,000 registered active providers. The quality living standards from a registered provider to an unregistered provider is night and day. A registered provider is accountable for what they do. It's great the NDIS is now starting to recognise that and making these registrations now mandatory over the next couple of years.
Why do you think it's taking so long for the Australian government to, enforce registration? Because you said it's only been the last 3 years?
Like anything on a national level, when you have, what is it, close to 500,000-600,000 participants, that infrastructure takes time. If someone contacts us and it's just all about money, and how can I grow my business, then we will definitely turn them away, because, and that's the whole point of, of what we do, is we're trying to make this better for providers and participants. At the end of the day, this is all about them.
After hearing about the amazing work Phil is doing for providers and participants all around the country, we went back to our hotel room where Chris finally began opening up with me about why he stopped racing.
So I was like, I don't know, 19 or 20, and they found some like lesion in my spine. So when you've got a single one, it's called CIS. When you've got multiple, that's multiple sclerosis. And I had one that I went back for one of my regular checks, and it just massively got from 1 lesion to 27. Scared the shit out of me, but it didn't really affect my everyday. I remember like sort of half waking up, and from my waist down, like no sensation, no movement. Then I had to go and get scans, and it was like 3 weeks of uncertainty of what the is going on. It'll give you these symptoms, and it could last for a day, a week, a month, a year, whatever, and then it could come back to a certain extent, and you don't know, is it going to come back 10%? Is it going to come back 90%? Is it going to come back at all? It's hard because it's like I've spent my whole career changing people's lives, like people with disabilities' lives, and trying to make the world a better place for them. Then you go through something like that yourself, and it's like you think that if there was anyone equipped enough to be able to deal with that, it would be me, but
after finally hearing Chris's story, I understood why he was so hesitant to open up. And after a long night of thinking, we got up early the next day to catch our flight to Perth, where we made a visit to SNS, a healthcare provider for complex care patients. Hello, how are you? Nice to meet you. Jamie, how are you? We've heard that you're the #1 in the country.
So we manage very high-level complex care clients in the community in their own homes, range from 1-year-old right up to 52 years old.
Wow. After a quick introduction to Caroline and what she does here at SNS, she took us to their training room where we met Susie, and they showed me how patients are moved with their hoist.
can we hoist you from one roller chair to another so you can experience?
Okay, I'd love to.
So we're going to imagine that this is a wheelchair. And then what we're going to do is put this hoist behind you.
After getting strapped into this hoist with a real-life demonstration of how it all works, I was shocked by how much goes into disability support every single day.
Put you back, whatever, and then we lower all this down, same sort of thing.
And this is just to get from point A to point B?
Yeah.
Wow.
Do that multiple times a day.
So that's the whole process.
You know, you see people with disabilities out in public all the time, but you don't actually know what goes into it every single day, you know? When you go through something like that and you see how it all actually happens, it puts things into a different perspective. So after properly understanding how hard living with a disability can actually be, Chris introduced me to Elijah, a young boy who SNS is doing incredible work for. Jamie, nice to meet you. Hi.
Nice to meet you.
After the introductions, Elijah's parents explained to us his condition and what it's like living with disability support from SNS.
From outside, you won't think he's a sick kid, but if we remove his shirt...
Are you ready?
Are you ready?
That's the most stretch out.
The nutrition goes directly to his heart, and then this is the peg tube that goes to his tummy.
And so this bag of nutrition is the one for his heart. We are registered as a life support house, so if there's any power outages, they let us know if something's coming up, possible power outages. Another thing the NDIS helped us with is by a generator, power his pumps, and the fridge to keep his nutrition cold.
Oh wow. Do you think the NDIS is a scam?
No, definitely not. I don't think we would be where we are without the NDIS. It gives you a chance to go home and live a normal life as much as possible. So it's not a scam for us.
For our family, it's a game changer. So I don't think it's a scam.
After being taken all across the country and meeting the real people who are helped by the NDIS every single day, it really changed my perspective. And I realized that without the NDIS, all these people who need support would be left behind, and that it truly is a necessary sector. Unfortunately, there will always be people trying to take advantage of the scheme. But with new reforms being put in place, I see a future where these bad faith providers will stop getting away with things, and support can continue to flow to those that need it.